What's going on, guys? Hey, how are you? Repeat with you, and it's the first time I get to be with you. And welcome to the Midwest Saturday Night Showdown, brought to you by ARCS. Boys and girls, a brand new season for these truckers. Night number one, live from Daytona International Speedway. It got about a 30 car field, and this entire broadcast can be brought to you by me, Repeat 1975, as well as Swats KS Gaming 51. If you want to look up, give him a follow as well. I promise you will not be disappointed. Again, just about 30 plus guys, and they got about a 15-minute qualifying, so no big reason to go on out and rush to qualifying. Some people might decide to lay over a little bit and give themselves some time. Maybe the track will cool off, do whatever they want to do, as the first car we're going to be able to watch, or truck we're going to be able to watch, is going to be the number 51 for Joshua Gaiman. He's going to go out and try to lay down a time. We'll actually go ahead and pick him up from a different point of view. You should see him get on up around the high side, get that truck wound up, and, get going. Definitely want to appreciate everybody for coming out, hanging out. Definitely looking forward to your conversation out there in chat. But above all, make sure you go on up, smash that follow. The same way we're going to see a bunch of these trucks get down dirty and contactful later on in this race. Again, there is around the high side. Again, we're keeping an eye on old Joshua Gaiman right now. We'll pull up some information for him. Not much seen here, except he is an ARCS Showdown Series driver, as I'm sure we'll see many people with this tag throughout the night. Swaps, you back yet, buddy?
Oh, I'm here, Pete. This is a great time to be in the booth with you. I love being in the booth with you. This is going to be a great race to call. Daytona is always entertaining. With this many drivers, it is going to be a fun-filled night for us.
Absolutely fun-filled. Again, I talked about 30 or so guys that are going to come on out, take time, and see who can grab that coveted pole position. The entire pole award system is actually going to be brought to you by Smeel Racing Designs. As you see them right there on the screen, they're also sponsoring the overall podium that we'll talk about just a little bit later on. But everybody right now going for this coveted award, and what a way to set it off right here from Daytona to try to get your whole season on a roll.
Yeah, Pete, I'm looking at Donald Ray right now running around. He just took the pole spot. He's on his second lap. He looks to be tracking a little bit faster this lap, so we'll see if he can pull that through and try to get that time a little lower. Cody Meadows just moved up into second. He's not too far off of Donald's pace, but yeah, these guys are going to be flying around this track. I'm like I said earlier, I'm really excited to see this fun-filled night. This many people out here. There's a few drivers that I actually have seen before. Nicholas Presti, Ryan Pinnell. I've seen them out in different leagues before. So Jody Bobby's out here too, and he's from Turn Down for What, where we broadcast over there. So definitely going to be interested in seeing what happens tonight. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, actually talking about Jonah Bybee, just brought him up in this number 98 Ford F-150. That's a pretty interesting looking paint scheme as he locks it up. I'm going to guess he was done. He was just pulling off the track, but saw him. Here's Pop Bear. Thank you very much for the sub, sir. Absolutely, as always, appreciate you. Looks like he's done. I'm going to try to catch up maybe with Seth Wansing. Looks like he's down and on that yellow line as well. And looks like he is slowing up. So I'm going to guess that his time is done. How about old Lurkin Tom? Nope, he's done as well. Mark Thomas, nope, he's on the inside. One of our past champions, Alex, where'd he go? Zimkowski, I believe is how we're going to pronounce that. And there you see him. He's still up on the high side. So one of the guys later taking his time, maybe allowing, as I mentioned before, to let the track cool off and get that John Deere up a little bit higher in the standings.
You were talking about Jonah earlier. He actually just bought this track within the last 2 hours. We ran a Daytona practice the other night, or last night, and he did not have Daytona. So he just purchased it this evening and goes out here, and he's actually sitting pretty high up in the standings right now. It's pretty good for not being able to run that. I mean, it is Daytona. It's super speed week. We know you just ride the yellow line. But there's actually a little bit of finesse you have to do to get that fast time. Some guys are 2/10 off. Some are, 3/100ths off. And it can make a real difference depending on how you go into that corner, how you come off the corner. Do you let the truck fade up? Do you dive it into the corner coming right before the turn? Do you stay right on the yellow, or do you stay a little bit above the yellow on that little bit of seam that we see going around the track? There's all kinds of techniques to figure out how to get around this place, and some guys have definitely figured it out. So being a first time on the track on iRacing, not a bad showing.
Not at all. We've been riding right there with Tristan Lane as he goes to the top of the board just above Mr. Ray, and then Withers so far, P number 3. Let's see if we can't catch up with anybody else just yet. Maybe Charles Canita. As he's on the bottom coming through turns 3 and 4. And yeah, you're 100% right. At Talladega, you can really guide your truck or your car around that bottom line because there's no flat parts to speak of through the corners. Where like Daytona, it's round, then it kind of squares out a little bit, and then round, then squares out a bit. So you gotta adjust the wheel just a little bit. Where here you could just hold that. If you can hold a steady wheel, if you don't have to force feedback up too high or too soft, you can hold that wheel and just guide it all the way around, right on that butter, as we used to say back on console days. Big thanks to T Money saying, "What's up, Repeat? What's up, T Money?" And of course, Bod Fusion, old Jonah Bybee, also says, "Thanks for the compliments, guys." Jonah, we know you race predominantly dirt. You're getting back into the asphalt things with a bunch of your old buddies from Turn Down for What and NNR and Shadow Racing League and a bunch of others. Glad to see you back, sir. As we're watching Nicholas Pressey guide his machine around. He's going to actually be the first one in this number 54, I think that was, to go ahead and duck 94 rather, duck below that yellow line. Warp Lotus saying, "Let's go! First race of the season." Absolutely. How about Hayden Wheeler? See if we can catch up with him. Nope, he's looks like he's all said and done. And they've still got some time left on the clock. But Swats, it kind of looks like everybody that's gone out so far is said and done. So far, it looks like it's going to be Lane, Ray, and who is that here? Ray, Lane, and Meadows. There we go.
Yeah, you've only got 8 drivers that have not come out and qualified. So I don't know if they just plan on just starting in the back, waiting to see what happens. It's kind of a tricky situation. You either want to be up front at the very front and hope that you don't get turned from the lead, or you want to be in the far back. Being in the middle is probably the worst spot to be because really anything can happen all around you. You can get tagged from the front, you can get hit from behind. At least if you're up front, you can only be hit in the back, and if you're out back, you can only run into somebody. So kind of different strategies going on there. Some people, like you said, with the driving the track, you kind of want to hug that yellow line, but I've noticed running this week with it being Daytona in trucks, if I come up off that edge just a little bit exiting the corners and I don't try to turn that wheel to stay right hugged against it, I actually pick up a little bit of speed carrying the momentum out of that corner. So interested to see what some of the guys were running. I know I saw a 288 up there by Tristan, a 362 by Donald Ray. I think I was running right around 291s, 304s for qualifying laps, getting poles in the official races. So those are definitely some pretty good times up there.
Absolutely, as I actually just brought their qualifying times up on the scoring pylon. And Warp Lotus out there saying it's a large field, so don't want to get too crazy. But I think I also saw something changed in their team rules earlier as far as EOLs or the ability to start in the back after you're qualifying. I think the way they put that is if you don't want to, if you don't get a great qualifying session, you're not going to get an opportunity to go to the back. You've got to start where you qualify. So you may see from 28th through 32nd or so, whatever it is, just knock a queue. or they may be some of those waiting until the track cools off. Let's actually go ahead and bring up the weather for tonight's race. So far, it looks like it's going to be 79-degree track temp, but also 78-degree air temp. So not a very big difference between the two whatsoever. Looks like it's going to be really grippy. So these guys are going to be able to handle these trucks in the draft as long as that beating and bang it doesn't get too severe.
Yeah, even a little bit of damage can still. I mean, you can still run 100%, no issues. If you get that back end pushed in just a little bit, as long as it doesn't mess up the spoiler. If you mess up the back bumper, it doesn't really do a whole lot in the draft. You can still stay 100% up to speed. You don't really want to hurt that front end, the grill area, because the temp will go up for the engine temp. So you got to be careful giving those bumps and trying to draft with the bump draft, but you definitely have to stay locked to the bumper as much as you can, but you can't push the pusher.
Absolutely. That is one of the biggest things. You cannot push the pusher. We see the professionals on TV. You might have seen it last night in the trucks or today in Xfinity, where you got three guys nose to tail. And usually what happens is that first guy, he might have to check up for something. All of a sudden, that second guy, he's getting pushed from the back and he's getting pushed in from the rear. And you see that truck get all topsy-turvy. Well, guess what? Pretty soon, that guy gets kicked out of the line and there's nothing at all that they can do about it. COT Tommy out there saying a lot of really good drivers tonight. Wish he could be there. Tommy, we wish you could be here as well. But man, thank you very much for coming out. Definitely appreciate you. And man, you're gonna be in for one hell of a show. Again, 30 plus drivers gonna be out here as we see old SS Motorsports. Shad, your brother, first dropping 20 bits and then another 25. So definitely appreciate you, Shad, and we're looking forward to seeing you again very soon when the Turn Down for What series kicks off in just about a week's time.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting people in this one. I see a lot of people. James Kerr I've seen before. Hayden Wheeler I've seen in another league before. Charles Canada, that's somebody I think we've seen from Xbox side.
Yep.
So good to
That's
see
Owen
those
Fournette,
guys over
if I'm
here.
not mistaken.
Yeah. Old military guy. So
Yep.
big
United
big
States
shout out to
Marine.
him for big shout out for him for serving and protecting and being there for us. But yeah, there's a lot of good guys in this league that I'm noticing a lot of their names. Obviously, coming from the console side, we know each other's gamer tags by heart. So coming over to iRacing, you really got to learn and pay attention to their first names and last names, and then remember to say those names instead of gamer tags, which you and I, Pete, both have struggled with down the road for specific people. But yeah, that's going to be really entertaining tonight with all these people in here.
Yeah, and our buddy Rick James actually sent me some information earlier about a couple of the guys that are in the field to kind of look out for, as well as the overall view for tonight's race. We're going to be looking at 80 laps, 200 miles around this 2.5 mile super speedway tri-oval. Single stage is lap 35, and these guys can go anywhere from 17 to 20 laps on a tank of fuel, which we know just how much that can differ between the guy that is leading the race, burning the most amount of fuel, and pulling this train around this super speedway. And then it looks like the top 10 in qualifying earn points for the big barbecue shootout that we'll see just a little bit later on in the series. And guys and gals, this will be where your entire season is, unless the buddy, our buddy Rick James may have to fill in a race or two, or maybe my buddy Swats here can be able to pick this up just a little bit as well. But the top two placing trucks in each manufacturer also score points for the Manufacturers Cup. So it's not just a driver's championship, but we're talking about a manufacturer as well. The couple of the guys that we're going to be looking out just for giving respect where it's due, and that's for your previous season champions. That's going to be Alex Zimkowski that I talked about just a little bit ago. Cody Pennell, which we've heard that name once or twice, huh? And then the one and only Nick Pressey. So these guys, they're going to be able to show us around this place. Obviously, they're going to want to get out of Daytona in good fashion, good scoring position. and also be there throughout the season. And if those guys are past champions, you know that they're going to be able to get this all done. All right, Swats. Qualifying is done. Everybody's going to go ahead and start getting loaded up. Definitely appreciate all just about 20 viewers out there. And, buddy, we haven't even taken the green yet.
Yeah, there's definitely, if you haven't gotten out and told everybody about coming in here, definitely do so. It's going to be fun. These 35 drivers, 36 drivers is what I'm seeing. Loving the paint schemes I'm seeing. That 98, wow, that's a colorful paint scheme there. 51, that's always near and dear to my heart. That's why my Twitch account is KS Gaming 51. Obviously, I'm a Rowdy fan, so Kyle Busch all the way. But he got the pole tonight, so he should be really fast. That 88 looks really fast as well in practice. The 61 looks really good. 22, I'm sure there's a couple Logano fans out there who will like that one. Yeah, down the line, this is going to be really fast. I think these guys are going to be really, really competitive. Hopefully they don't do the old try to win it on the first lap or first turn. But I think with the level of skill I'm seeing in the names of drivers in this league, I think this is going to be a really, really good night.
And the first guy that's going to go ahead and be able to grab that coveted Smeal Racing Designs pole award is going to be the 51. Just talking about him, that Air Jordan looks like Toyota, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Smeal Racing Design is going to go ahead and congratulate Tristan Lane on his first pole of the season, and what a coveted one it is right here from Daytona. We're going to kind
of Lane in that Toyota. The Chevy though, I think that 5 is going to be somebody to watch right alongside the 51.
I tell you what, every time I see that first name of Tristan, I get nightmares, and if you know, you know. But yeah, 51, Tristan Lane. He's gonna, until he's outside, it's gonna be the 5 of Donald Ray. As they pull off the pit road, we'll get some better screenshots for you. Then it's gonna be Cody Meadows, Joshua Garrison, Ryan Bill, Jeremy Brialt. I've been waiting to talk about him for a while, watching all the Rick James streams. So, again, big congratulations to the number 51 of Tristan Lane. And then, again, there's the HendrickCars.com, number 5 for Donald Ray. 88, RKM Setup Shop of Cody Meadows, Ryan Billy, the 23 Premier Racing Setups. Joshua Garrison in this number 44, Good Ale Auto Truck. Billy Bale, again, we just talked about him. Jeremy Brial in, I believe that was going to be in number 74. If the other truck will move out of the way, that's 74 Haviland Machine. Jonah Bybee, his first ever Daytona league race in this number 98, very colorful Ford. I almost wonder with all those puzzle pieces if it might have to do with the autism spectrum. Joshua Gaiman here in this number 61, King's General Store. Jonathan Hohenbrink in this number 20, Platinum Professional Car Wash Systems. And that's going to round out our top 10 with the 49 Domino's Machine starting P11. But, buddy, we are about ready to set this entire field afire. Swats, buddy, I definitely appreciate you coming up and, offering to call this with me. Definitely looking forward to getting in here, getting down, getting dirty. It's a long season. Swats, you go ahead and take us to green, sir.
Green flag, green flag.
All right, I'm going to guess something happened to my buddy Swats. Not quite sure what, though. Then we got the, looks like so far, Tristan Lane has been able to jump on that loud pedal first, get up and get going. Cody Meadows in that number 88, able to follow suit and duck in right behind him, as well as the 23 of Ryan Billy. So top 3 all nose to tail behind them side by side, going down the backstretch for the first lap. Everybody kind of still side by side, a bit behind them. We're going to fan out and get a bigger image. Swats, I hope you're all right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Went to move, and I guess I unplugged. But yeah, so I obviously really love being in here with you, Pete. Love calling races with you. You'll catch us probably next Sunday over at Turn Down for What. So, and then maybe future talks of a podcast. So I absolutely love being in the booth with you, calling these races. But that 51 had a really good start in that restart zone. 88 gave him a great push, but the 5 had a terrible restart. But now the 85 and 94 are pushing up front with the 5, trailing with the 44 on that outside lane.
Yeah, all double wide. This kind of looked like the Xfinity race from earlier. A couple guys were able to get single file. As you see the 22 back there blinking just a little bit. That's going to be Cody Roberts in that double deuce. Man, love talking about that number and our buddy Josh Arnold. But enough of all that. Looks like we're going to be able to get back single file. The 85 is going to try to pull the high side. That's going to be Jacob Blankenship.
Yeah, Blankenship I've seen in a couple different leagues. He's a very sturdy, stays straight, clean racer. Usually keeps his nose clean for most of the race unless he gets caught up in something. So good to see him in this league. Good to see him moving up through. He's now going to take the lead from that 5 truck on the outside, being pushed by the 94. That inside line seems to be trailing with the 88. Oh, 98 and 23 get into it. That's a big wreck.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to go ahead and bring out the yellow. We'll be able to take a look back here in just a second to see exactly what that was or what happened. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry.
I was just about to say Jonah was right on the back bumper of that guy, and they had a little bit of a gap between the 88 and first place, and it was causing a stack up. So I don't know if the 88 was just trying to lay off of the leader to get a run, but it was stacking up the 23 and the 98, and I think that's the problem. When the 23 got to the back bumper of the 88, the 98 was already pushing the 23, and I think that's what lifted the back tires off and turned them.
As we're looking, sorry about that. I had to kind of let the missus know, otherwise she would not have stopped blowing up my phone, that I was actually in this race right now. But hello out there to Cape. Appreciate you coming out and hanging out, chatting it up as always. Well, let's go ahead and take a look back, see exactly what happened there. And, yeah, what triggered this first one?
I think you might have had me muted, but I was telling you, I think what was happening is right as I was calling that, I said the 88 was leaving a gap from him and the leader, and I think it was stacking up the 23 and the 98, and the 98 was pushing the 23. And as we said earlier, you can't push the pusher. So when the 23 made contact with the 88 finally, and then backed off of him, he had let off because the 98 was pushing. So I think that's what turned the 23 right into the middle of the field.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. What I meant by let's go ahead and take a look back is the transition availability here in SDK to actually go back to exactly what happened. But I get what you're saying, and we're going to go ahead and play it forward here from the number 9 Lumar Chevrolet of old Mr. Watson. Here we go. So you see him down low. You got a decent little gap up high, and it looks like the 23 either got pushed up high or something happened, and he made contact with the trucks to the outside and nothing doing. But I'm not quite sure why this number 9 stayed on the gas that entire time. By that point, I would have been locked down. You would have seen tire smoke galore coming from my Chevy truck. That way I didn't make any other contact. But hey, to each his own, I'm not behind the wheel. And we'll go ahead and bring it back live here.
Yeah, Pete, from that view, we're obviously sitting back from the truck, but
Right.
from inside the driver's seat, right up against the back bumper of these trucks, you really can't see a whole lot in front of you. All you can see is from, corner to corner of your truck is spoiler, basically. So if he didn't see up in front of him that somebody was spinning, he may not have been able to get off the gas, but he was also being pushed in the back, or he got hit in the back once he did take his foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if we could have seen a view from maybe Jonah's truck, I think that's where we would have been able to see what I was talking about with the 88 laying back. I don't know if he was just trying to get a run on the leader or what he was doing, but he left almost a 2-car gap between him and the leader, and that stacked the 23 and 98 as the 98 was pushing the 23 into the 88.
All right, so let's see if we can do that.
And right as the 23 got to the 88, he must have let off because the 98 was pushing, because we talked about before you can't push the pusher. So
Right.
I think that's what caused that.
Yeah, absolutely. See, your brother's out there saying, Peter Kurt, where do I go to update my info for SDK? like hometown and the picture. Kurt, if you don't mind, go ahead and take a minute if you still have that info up, and talk about this hometown and what they kind of bring to the table as their secondary sponsor here for the ARCS truck series on Saturday nights.
Yeah, so I think he's actually talking about where he goes in and fixes his SDK information.
All right.
But yeah, the information for Chicks and Honey Homestead, that's Ashley and Johnson. You can go out to Instagram and find their page. It's CHIX and Honey Homestead. It looks like they go out and they help you and they teach you how to build on your own homestead, whether it's gardening, self-building. They built their own 1,200 square foot house. They've got a whole bunch of different things out here they can do with dirt and seeds and making little, it looks like little homemade stuff they can make with jarring and making fertilizer from banana peels, it looks like. There's all kinds of things on their Instagram, so definitely go out there and check them out if you're interested in anything to do with homesteading, whether it's gardening or just, doing anything around your house. I'm sure you can find something on their Instagram page. They got videos and pictures and all kinds of stuff out there.
I tell you what, keep my wife away from that Instagram page if that's what it is, because she is constantly watching the DIY and home and gardening channel on TV, and every time she does, it costs me money. So no, thank you very much.
That honey-do list.
That honey-do list gets very, very expensive. So
luckily, mine will watch those shows, but she has no interest in actually doing them. I think her interest or her functionality of doing it is just by watching the shows and getting ideas.
Well, here we go, buddy. Back one more time. Donald Ray, Tristan Lane, Jacob Blankenship, Joshua Garrison, and Nicholas Pressey, one of our past champions right now, sitting in the P5 position. Away we go, sir. Through 1 and 2. Gonna look forward to the backstretch. A little bit of a gap now between the first and second pack, but they're very spread out in the rear end.
Yeah, that 23, I don't think learned anything from being spun just a minute ago, because he just took it 3 wide coming out of turn 1, or actually through turn 1 and 2. He took it 3 wide and almost caused another accident right there. But yeah, these guys up front seem to be just taking it easy, trying to ride their line. We got a lot of laps tonight, so this is only 7 laps into the race. These guys up front in this top 7, top 8 are really not making big moves. They're just, following the line, following where the draft goes, carrying that momentum. But these guys back here in the second half, they want to get up front too, so.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, points matter throughout the night. And again, right about lap 35, there is a stage break that's going to be able to allow these guys to fix up any damage, or maybe take a little bit of extra time on pit road to do that. It takes a good minute or so, minute plus, to be able to work their way around Daytona under pace speed. So if you've got a minute and a half or 2 minutes of damage and you're one of the first to be able to get on down pit road, as we're watching this 75 make hay on that high side, he was able to just pass the 88 and the 23 with this big old pull from this high line, which, man, they're making no bones about trying to work their way back up towards the lead, which is now, oh, by the way, in control of driver 5.
98 just came flying up through there too. Now the 92 dropped down to the bottom line coming from that second group, and he's trying to tow on to the 14 as he's moving up past the 61 and 38 now. So that inside line is definitely building a lot of momentum, and those guys are pulling that momentum and just carrying it straight through from about 7th on back all the way to the leader, as you see the 51 now locked bumpers and pushing that 5 down the straightaway.
Yeah, Tristan Lane absolutely tied up all over the back end of that number 5 HendrickCars.com Chevy Silverado. Led off just before the entrance of the corner, and then I'm pretty sure we'll be able to go ahead and see him lock right back up, as we'll actually jump on board with his nose camera, see exactly how much room he's leaving. You can't even read the Chevy logo.
Gap between the two of them. But that 74 bounced out to the outside line in front of that 85, and now he's trying to pull that the outside line. The problem is the inside line seems to be a lot more locked together, or a lot closer. There was a giant gap between the 94 and the 44, who I believe are teammates there, as they're running the same kind of paint scheme. But now that the 74 is up on the top line, they've kind of filled in those gaps, and they're pulling the 5 and 51 right back to them.
Yeah, Jeremy Brio looking pretty strong, keeping that high line momentum going. And that 85, he has been no slouch whatsoever in being able to completely fill in that rear view mirror. And, he's actually keeping his high train rolling around that. You call it the Dale Jr. line, Kyle Larson line, whatever you want to call it. But that outside line's moving also. Big thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say a big thank you to True Fatality. Big thanks for the follow. Definitely appreciate it, as now we're starting to see a little bit of separation between the top two, 51 and the 5, completely locked up.
Yeah, Pete, I was just going to say, us old heads that watch NASCAR, we can definitely say that is an Earnhardt line. Whether it's Earnhardt or Dale's Jr. or Senior, definitely not a Kyle Larson line for Daytona. All the other tracks, though, I will give Kyle Larson his dues, because he turns every track into a high line, it seems like. But Daytona, that's an Earnhardt way. There's only one way around this track, and that's the Earnhardt way to be fast.
They called him the Pied Piper for years when he won 4 in a row around Talladega Superspeedway, which we'll see later on in the season. But now we're starting to see even more separation than we saw before, as there is a very long conga line coming down the backstretch. Everybody's still chasing the 5 and the 51. This may be a duo that they chase for the remaining 70-plus laps that we've got here at Daytona.
Yeah, that 5 and 51, they've definitely got something figured out with the lock in the bumpers or being right on it. That 51 is a really, really good pusher. Luckily, though, the 45, who's sitting back there in the watermelon truck, is not pushing hard on the 51, so he's not pushing the pusher, so he's giving that gap. And when the 51 does let off the 5, he then pushes him and gives him that air to push him back to the 5. 98 of Jonah that we talked about earlier in that autism paint scheme has moved back up into the top 7 after being in that wreck earlier with the 23. So this bottom line seems to be working well together. Now the outside line coming together with the 74 coming around the 5 on the outside.
Yeah, we're actually going to
moving to the bottom.
Yep. You see the other 30. Man, I tell you what, that's a beautiful paint scheme. And I see a very easily recognizable emblem for that old Rays energy. I'm actually drinking a Rays Apollo right now. You see that 45 road machine. Let's go ahead and back out.
And those two were working so well together. No caution.
No caution, but we're going to see if we can't go ahead and see exactly what happened right there.
Yeah, that's a big one for Blankenship. That's going to really damage his night.
Yep, let's see. Yeah, we kind of missed that, but man, very separated. But you know what? There's one big thing between these trucks and like the next gens and others. These trucks still punch a huge hole in the air, and just like you might have raced here on iRacing or saw in the Daytona race just the other night, the duels. There we go. There's no exaggeration on iRacing versus real life with those next-gen cars. If you get caught slightly out of the draft, they will leave you. These trucks, they still punch that big hole in the air. So you see this group of 3 behind, I believe that's the 75. That group of 3 will still be able to pull themselves up. And then if they get spread out, that pack a little bit further in the back, they'll be able to catch up. So there may be a little bit of separation right now, but not all is not lost for the guys that had to check up in order to not cause a big one right there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, Pete, and that actually looks like the 5 came up off the bottom a little bit off of turn 4, and the 85 was actually coming down off of turn 4 to get a little bit of side draft off the 74 and 5, and when the 5 slid up off the yellow line, came more towards the middle of the lane, he made contact with the 85, shot him into the wall, and 94 was actually able to avoid it a little bit, but the 44 got collected in this calamity with the 85 and the 5 making contact.
Well, there you go. I unfortunately missed it, but the man right here, not so much. I actually caught up with one of the guys that you just talked about, old Donald Ray. Let's see if maybe we can still catch it. There we go. Yeah, here we are. So that's where they're pushing. You got the 74, 5, and 51. coming off of 4, 5, went up just a little too high, and that is where calamity started. Everybody, a great job on their evasive driving. Swats, good eyes, sir. Let's go ahead and bring that back live.
I thought that 94 didn't get contact, but he did get doored a little bit as the 85 of Blankenship came off the wall. And there might have been one other truck in there that might have got a little damage too. But that 85 and 44 for sure got the worst end of that one.
Ferret man out there in chat say, yo, what's up? Ferret, good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming out. Definitely appreciate you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring this back to the front one more time. 74-5, 51-78. It kind of looks like the 51 has kind of lost a partner that he's been very comfortable in pushing, as it looks like Swats. Here's our first attempt at our green flag pit stops. Everybody going on down.
Big wreck. Somebody just spun right into the pits. I think that was the 98. Hit the end wall. There's a big wreck back there at pit road.
Yep, I saw something happen with Jonah Bybee. We were just talking about him a little bit ago, and we're going to see if we can't maybe catch up.
Yeah, I don't know if he got run over. I'm trying to look.
I think what happened was he might have made
he tried to miss the 51.
Yeah, I think Jonah might have maybe made some changes with his brake bias or whatever, and went on and slammed that inside wall. And in that happening, he came across the nose of the 51. 51 had nowhere to go. No caution, ladies and gents. We're going to be able to. It looks like we're going to be able to keep it green. So far, everybody's still racing around.
Yeah, that's pretty bad for the 51. You know, obviously he was just kind of rolling into pits. Thought he was cleared, and the 98 just carried way too much speed in there. And if he adjusted those brake bias or did not adjust his brake bias like some of us do, if he was more on the rear or on the front, it could definitely turn that truck like it did. It looked like he was trying to avoid the 51, like he was carrying way too much speed in there.
Yeah, and I know he's got to feel, knowing the guy for as many years as I have, between NNR and elsewhere, I'm sure he feels extremely bad, being his first race here. Not the best showing, but I promise you, the guy's a wheel man. He's great on dirt. If these guys go to Eldora later on or anywhere else for any kind of a specialty race, he'll be able to show his true skills. Jonah, if you're out there, as I see you are now in chat, buddy, don't worry about it. Accidents happen. As Ferretman, throws out a different option, maybe a little bit of wheel hop if he was downshifting before getting to that commitment line. But either way, unfortunate. Race goes on.
Yeah, well, back up front, though, the 31, 18, 14, and who we were talking about before, that 85, even though he's still lapped down, he's still right here with the front pack. He was probably hoping that caution would have came out at the time it did, because he would have been the first car lapped down. But still up here in the front pack, he did obviously get to pit and get fuel and tires. So if this works out for him, he may be able to get back on the lead lap, depending on how this turns out with the green flag stops.
Yeah, and when Rick James sent me the race information earlier, talking 17 to 20 laps on fuel, man, he was dead on. So good job, Rick James. If you're out there right now, or if you watch this a little bit later on, again, big thank you to him for tapping me on the shoulder and say, hey buddy, do you want to get involved with ARCS? As many times as I've watched his broadcast with this league, I felt like I already was. I'm not doing anything on Saturday nights anyway, so I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, Pete, if this is going to be at 10, 10, 15, I might be able to coerce my wife into letting me do it with you here more often on Saturdays for sure. I think normally she doesn't want me to try to do any kind of broadcast between before 8:30, 9 o'clock, just so we can get my son down. But 10, 10, 15 is usually when she's going to bed, so I might be able to get on here more often on Saturday nights.
Hey, if you can, you can. But we all know, happy spouse, happy house. We get it, sir. Looks like there was actually a little bit of contact on pit road. The 55 ended up going around off of the tail of one of the other drivers that was pitting right alongside him. I think it was going to be the number 18, if I can kind of catch up with him just a little bit. Nope, looks like it's all said and done, but very, very unfortunate. And even though he had to back up and loop that truck around, he was able to, we're still going to be able to keep it green. And now we'll go ahead and back up rather, with the race right now for first. That's going to be between Tom Lurkin Tom and Jonathan Hohenbrink. Looks like Tom's going to go ahead and bring that number 14 ARCS machine off pit road. And I'm sure as he goes ahead and exits, we're going to see a flash of trucks come on by to retake the lead from him. You see them coming into frame right now. There is a pack of about 7 on the bottom, 2 or 3 up high. He's got to keep that 14 below the yellow not to get a commitment violation, and then merge on up once he gets to the cone. He might have come up early. Ooh. Hopefully that wasn't a black flag.
Yeah, Pete, looking back real quick at the pit road incident, what that was is the 55 blew his pit stall. So he had to slam on the brakes. When he did, the 18 was not riding that outside line on the pit road. So when he slammed on the brakes, the 18 had nowhere to go and ran right into the back of him and turned him around there.
There you go. Eyes in the sky. Appreciate you, Swats.
And I'm not seeing that the 14 got a black flag on that, so it looked like it was really close for him coming up a little early, but it doesn't show a black flag, so I'm guessing he's all clear, but he definitely missed the pack and lost the draft there.
Yeah, he's gonna be hurting for sure. But again, there's close to let me see if there's quite a few trucks a lap down or close to being a lap down. Right now, everybody except for maybe 2 or 3, looks like maybe 2, 3 trucks out. But there are also a few trucks 1 or more laps down. But the furthest back, while still being on the lead lap, is about 31 seconds behind. They may have been some people that had an issue on. Excuse me, sorry about that. May have had an issue getting on and off of pit road, or might have been like the unfortunate 51 that got contacted by Jonah Bybee on his way in. And again, Jonah out there in chat, buddy, accidents, mistakes happen. Don't worry about it, sir. It's a long season. They'll see what you're all about a little bit later on.
Yeah, Blankenship's actually back on lead lap now. Due to these pit stops, he was able to get back on the lead lap. Now, he did pit a little bit earlier than everybody else because of the damage that he got in that wreck, in the bounce off the wall with the 5. So he's actually back out there, but he's going to have to pit a little early, so he's probably hoping and praying for a caution to come out here so he can be back on the same strategy as everybody else and stay on that lead lap.
Looking ahead from this number 74, your brother's out there in chat saying that 74 truck with a big old thumbs up emoji. And he's actually talking about, tonight's pole award and podium sponsor, Smeal Racing. So, Brill, he's got that thing on that bottom, but every now and then, Swats, he kind of kicks up off the yellow line. I don't know if it's just because of the contact or otherwise, as they come across some lap traffic doing the right thing and pulling out of the way. But Brill, he's going to go ahead and pull to that top line, and as he does that, 78's going to make use of the clean air with a good push from the 23, and they're taking it 3 wide.
I don't know why the 74 bailed out of there. I don't know if he's trying to get back so he can conserve fuel. But that 78, I know why Shad's talking about him. He's a Martin Truex groupie, so seeing that 78 on track, that's what he's looking at from back before when Truex drove for Denver Mattress. But the 23 was in that first incident with Jonah, and he's up here in second. So the 92 of Nick Presley, I really love how Nick drives and how clean he drives. So seeing him come up through the field, and now he's on the outside in 4th right now too.
Yeah, Nick Presley doing a great job. Again, a reason that he is a past ARCS Series champion. He's up on that high side. He's got the 75 of James Kerr. We know that name pretty well, right behind him. And we know that James Kerr can race He can he can hold the line. He can push with the best of them. And so far, he's got a past champion leading the way. And this high side can hold a lot of momentum. Now, Swats, I'm going to ask you a question, all right? Because we've seen Pressy get up there. When we're at Daytona, all right, and you're in that outside line, you're leading the pack. I'm curious, okay, if you go all the way up as high as that 92 is, in my mind, you're giving too much space to the guy down below. You should be with your right side tires right up against that seam all the way around. It looks like 78 might have got a little loose right there. Can he hold it on the bottom? Looks like he's able to get out of the throttle, hold it down. Going to be able to keep it out of traffic. Good job by him. And the patient people behind him, they're going to go ahead and roll out of the throttle just a little bit and give him a space to come on back up. Great wheeling by him. But back to what I was saying, the 92 really needs to keep the right side tires on that seam in the corner. If you don't, you're giving too much room to that bottom line, and they're able to keep it going. But more guys have now gone up to the high side. It looks like we're going to see a challenge for the lead. 75 down low, 23 behind him, 38's moved up behind Pressy.
Yeah, we were actually corrected in the chat, Pete. The 92 is not Pressy, it's Wheeler. Pressy's actually in the 94, he's only a couple cars back, or a couple trucks back.
My bad.
But he's right in front of that 51. Bod's out there correcting us.
My bad, Bod.
I mean, Bob, when you got 31 minutes of damage, you can look at that. No, I'm just kidding, Bod.
Ouch.
Yeah, these guys, Kerr, I mean, he's one of those guys you always see pushing, and he's a really, really good pusher, so I'm glad to see him in there. 92 and 75, they should be able to make some really, really good time staying connected like that. The 23 looks like his spoiler is still a little banged up from earlier with Jonah, or after, I guess, if he did use his fast repair. But that 38 is probably not a truck to sleep on either, because Dylan's coming around on the outside with the 61 of Joshua Gaiman back there too.
Yeah, completely my bad. Back to the 94, Nick Pressy, and he's got the 51 right in his pocket. He's way up his trumpet right now, and they're trying to make time. And it looks like any of the contact that was made to that 51 might have really been very minimal. Let's actually take a look around this number 51 here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and catch up with him right now. It's going to be Tristan Lane. Let's take a look at his right rear and left rear, see if he's got any lingering damage in his Air Jordan 51. So it looks like the left side's all right, but most of the contact was made to the right front. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm gonna guess these guys got a fast repair, and he was able to get that squared away. So this MJ51 not looking too bad after all.
Yeah, they have one fast repair each, so 51 did use his fast repair with that incident with Jonah. The 94 has not used his, unless I don't know if he used his in the beginning. He's the one that I said I thought snuck through with the 5 and 85 making contact, but that actually looks exactly where he got hit by the 85 when he came off the wall. So I don't think he's used it yet, but we still have plenty of laps here. We should be hitting that stage break though, Pete, coming up soon.
Yep, we're working lap 32 of 80 right now, and you just saw a great example of why you don't push the pusher. The 92 was right up behind the 75, giving him a shove for all it was worth. The 23, if the 23 doesn't yield, nope, he's actually going to come on down and top off. Great job by those guys in SWATs. I didn't think about that. Coming down pit road to top off before the yellow flies for the stage break. That way they don't have to pit later. But you saw the issue right there between the 23 and the 75. The 75 was pushing the 92. The 23 came up behind it and started pushing the 75, and that completely pushed the 92 out of line to where he had to save it. Great job by those two, and great hands by the 92 in order to save that machine, and he's been able to retain the lead, but we'll have to see what happens here after the stage break.
It looks like a lot of these guys grabbed right sides and fuel, and if they can get out of here quick enough before that leader gets here, they should be able to stay on the lead lap and then take this yellow, and then everybody else is going to have to pit, and they're going to go right to the front. So I don't know about the idea of 2 tires only, but it's Daytona, so it shouldn't be that much of an impact. But 2 tires is obviously better than none, but 4 tires is better than 2. So
Well, I'm actually on that. I'm still on that 92 as he's made his way into his pit stall. I don't really see where that right side has been jacked up much. Looks like it's just going to be fuel and fire for that 92 as he makes his way off pit road. Looks like 74, he's going to be able to beat them all. And unfortunately, still just the 98 of Jonah Bybee stuck on pit road as he continues to allow repairs to be able to be made. And as we work back up towards our leader, it looks like Dylan McDonald here in this 38. I'm talking about this paint scheme earlier. He's been able to inherit the lead, and the 21 of Mark Thomas right behind him. And now the real Nicholas Pressey has stood up, sitting in P3.
I didn't catch it earlier. Did they say they were getting points for these stage breaks? If that's the case, I don't know if I would have pit if I was a leader. If you really wanted that stage break point, that 38 has stayed out. He's him, Mark Thomas, Nick Pressey, they're the only ones that have stayed out. So everybody else has come down pit road.
I'm actually double checking on the stage points right now.
And actually, no, sorry, Charles Kanata, Tom Lurkin, and Ryan Pinnell have not come down pit road either.
Yep, you got it. You got it. And so far, nope, I don't see anything about stage points. So this is
so really, there's no benefit of staying out then.
right. And you got to think about something else. It's Daytona. As we come to start lap 36, the manual yellow will fly. So congratulations to driver 38. He was still the point man as the stage break flag flew, and he's gonna be one of the last to come on down pit road, and he'll have the ability to decide whether he just wants to take fuel, or since it takes about the same amount of time to grab fuel and maybe right sides, he can do what he wants to do. But this is also great help for Jonas Bybee to get that truck fixed up also. Normal lap time around this place, if you're running by yourself, a good 50 seconds. In the draft, we're talking quite a bit faster, but hopefully this will help save maybe a lap or two. And if there's anybody else that gets knocked out a little bit later on, maybe that'll help him score some points as the night progresses. But good job to number 38 for being your stage break winner, if there is such a thing. I'll have to look into that more as the weeks go on. But first person that was arguably on and off pit road first is going to be this number 31 Deadpool paint scheme for Matt Kent as he kind of toys around with the pace truck just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if the 85 is going to get his lap back. I didn't see who was called for the lucky dog. Blankenship is the one that we saw earlier get into the 5, went a lap down, got back on the lead lap by staying out for the green flag stops. But then unfortunately, like I said, he had to pit a little bit before everybody else due to him pitting earlier to fix his damage. And he went back 1 lap down. So I don't know if he got the lucky dog or if Stefan Downton did. But anyways, Blankenship is the first one a lap down as of now.
All right, so let's see if maybe we can catch up with driver 38 right quick, Dylan McDonald. Let me see here.
Jonah's out there saying he's not coming back out if it does get fixed. But,
yeah.
Jonah, you'd be surprised how many points you can pick up if a few other people get knocked out of here.
You got that right. Let's see. I'm not exactly sure where Mr. Dylan is. So unfortunately, doesn't look like we'll be able to pull him. And now my mouse is acting funky.
Not going, one to go.
Do you see him out there anywhere? I don't see him in Discord at all, so we'll have to let that be this time. But looks like with all... Yeah, no, it actually looks because he was... so far, right now, he's still showing as the leader, up a total of 15 spots, so just about half the field he's made up. Other big movers behind him, talking about Lurk and Tom. Tom Sears up 21 spots. Mark Thomas, hey, might as well keep Tom in the name. He's also up 20 spots. Matthew Kent, he's up 17 spots. Tristan Catania back here in this number 48. He's up 12 spots. Justin Williams, he's up 14 spots. Ryan Pinnell, we talked to him a little bit ago as well. He's up 13 spots. Terry Freer in the number 46. He's up 11 spots. So is Terry Gabbard in this number 4. He's also up 11 spots. Stephen Downton, I believe is how he's pronounced. The name's kind of cut off there just a little bit, but he's also up quite a few spots as well. So looks like as things are slowly getting cycled through and pit stops done, wave arounds done, everything is as it is behind the pace truck. Looks like Lurk and Tom in that 14. He's going to be your leader.
Yeah, I was trying to see on the Discord. I can see 4 people, but I can't move anybody, so I don't have that permission. But I don't know why our Discords are reading different people. But yeah, Tom's up front. I'm liking that 14. Dylan was able to stay up there in second, unless this thing's not correct. But he was first when they ended the stage, so he's going to be up there in second. James Kerr, the one we were talking about before, he's still up there in third. I think he's going to be one of the deciding factors at the end of the day with this, because he's one of those drivers that I expect to see up here in the top 5 battling it out. We lost a few drivers to the back here. Blankenship actually is still back there. He is still lapped down. Kanata moved from 3rd back to 16th. Ryan Pinnell dropped as well, and a few others. So definitely going to be some fast trucks coming from the back on fresh tires.
Absolutely. Now I can't talk. Here we go. Tongue-tied. That doesn't happen often. Yeah, looking at Ryan Pinnell in that number 12 Hooters machine. See if we can't gain a little bit more information out of Good Hope, Georgia. Not bad. And he's one that absolutely does a lot for this series overall. And good on him. ARCS and A Squared and whatnot. There's a lot of people that have come a long way from that community. What do you want to call that? Community duel that we had, I guess. Back in the day, where a lot of these guys started from over on the Xbox side. So it looks like they're not gonna go back racing anytime soon. Looks like they've actually extended the caution. The lights on the truck are back out, but Lurk and Tom Sears, he's still leading the way.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the different stats here to see what people have been running for fuel runs. I'm seeing 17, 18, 19, and 20 a couple different times. So one of the questions out there in the chat was from SS Motorsports asking if someone in the draft could make it in one stop. Well, we have now 40 laps to go. They've been running anywhere from 17 to 20 laps on a fuel run. I would say if you started throwing it in neutral from the time you go out on track right now, like the 38 is on pit road. He came down pit road. It looks like he's fueling up, doing some other stuff. Actually, it looks like he's parked. I don't know what he's doing. But a couple of guys left the 65. They just went down pit road, fueled up, and are coming back out, but it is 1 to green. If they throw it in neutral around the caution here, and then if they can stay in the back and half throttle it, I would say they make it, Pete.
It's possible. I mean, you have to actually save quite a bit, as it looks like we're going to go green file, but in single file formation, green flag rather, in single file formation, as I see one of the best out there in chat. Ladies and gents, Rick James with a drop of 200 bits out there. Rick, thank you very much for coming out, hanging out. I'm glad that you did, buddy. I've gotten to watch many a stream by you from this ARC series. As I mentioned earlier, glad you tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I'd be willing, and I absolutely am. These guys have put on one hell of a show so far. As you watch the 31 Deadpool machine, he's going to go ahead and pull out a line. Maybe he doesn't want to be in the mix too early. He's going to drop a little bit further back. That's going to leave the 88 of Cody Meadows and Lurkin Tom at the point. James Kerr, Ryan Billy, and Hayden Wheeler as your top 5. First time we're really talking about Hayden being up front.
Yeah, Pete, I don't think the 38 got the memo that they shortened the caution before, because he stayed on pit road to refuel that thing as much as possible, and he's actually going to be a lap down here shortly with this group coming right behind him. Now, even if he does do it in one stop, like I said, I don't know if he can make up being a lap down doing that. So it's going to be a weird strategy that he's trying to pull. I don't think he got the memo that they shortened the caution, because I don't think he would have stayed on pit road as long as he did. But up front, though, that 78 that SS Motorsports was talking about earlier is coming on the outside. Ooh, he gets blocked by the 23, or almost attempted it for a block. Makes contact. 61 and 10 make contact. Big wreck.
Caution, caution.
Oh, yeah, huge wreck. See the 20, the 21, the 45, the 46, and others all involved in this. You see the 12 we were just talking about, Mr. Pinnell, a little bit ago. There's the 18. We saw a little bit of an issue on pit road earlier. 46, he's on the low line. Don't see much damage with him. The 38, he just got lapped. So if that's the case and there aren't any other later in the running trucks, he should be able to get his lap back, but we'll have to take a look, maybe catch back up with, I believe the first one that was involved was Mark Thomas. Let's take a look back and see if we can catch up.
I don't know if the 38 went a lap down.
Well, let's actually go ahead and rewind this just a little bit and see exactly how this all started. Definitely somebody on the low line made contact. We'll go ahead and stop it right here. Yeah, just somebody down on the apron, not able to keep it down there, washed up, and that was literally all she wrote, but several drivers included, and we'll go ahead and bring that back live.
Yeah, Pete, looking at it, it looks like I said, the 23 tried to throw a block on the 78, did not accomplish that block, and actually caused a little bit of damage to the 78. And when he did that, I think the 92 thought there was going to be a wreck, and let off just a little bit and went down onto the apron, got stuck on the apron, tried to come back up. And when he did that, the 61, they didn't make contact, but the 61 moved up the track a little bit to try to give the 92 a little bit more room, and that 10 was coming with a lot of speed on the outside of that 92 and 61, and they made contact, turning that 10 into the 92, and then all calamity behind that.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. It didn't need to happen that way, but out there in chat, he's saying the 88 and the 23 clearly jumped that restart. Maybe that'll be something that the admins will have to go back and review. Not quite sure what the rules are on that. Is it as soon as the leaders see the green or see the stripe, or is it somewhere in the restart zone? The admins may want to go back and look at that. I'm not too familiar with that part of the rules. That's up to them, and I'm sure if T-Money or whoever goes back, they'll review that on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. They definitely jumped that one. They're gonna have an easy time looking at that replay.
All right, guys. I mentioned just a moment ago that Rick James out there in chat dropping 200 bits on the channel. Rick, again, definitely appreciate it. Guys and gals out there, if you don't already, go ahead and smash that link that I just put in chat for Rick James. One hell of a broadcaster. The man will say all kinds of things about me. Don't listen to any of that rubbish. I tell you, yeah, Rick James, I pulled him into a couple streams here and there, and later on more and more. back with N&R and Turned Down for What, and he says I taught him a whole bunch. The man has outdone anything I could possibly have taught him, and then some. Any graphics that you see here with any of these ARCS Saturday night races, they're all courtesy of that man right there. I claim no credit whatsoever for anything that you see. I just simply do my best to put on a great race for y'all. Swats does the same thing with Turned Down for What, and everywhere that he goes. So definitely appreciate everybody that's come out, hung out, chatted up, and keeping us company. There you go. SS Motorsports, Rick James, and I'm going to read it just because I can, and I didn't get a chance to. Rick will ask you, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? I don't care. To kind of re-quote a live poll from several races back.
Yeah, I remember that. I was in our team chat, and all of a sudden Shad wasn't there no more, and he come back and he's like, "Rick asked me what your favorite ice cream was," and I told him I don't care, and I got kicked out.
He did.
Like, all right.
He did. He absolutely did.
But, no, I definitely. What you were saying about Rick is, I mean, it's how I feel about you. It's how I feel about Rick. It's how I feel about Terry, Frozen, Atlanta, all the people that I have watched. And that have helped me, and I've taken a lot of notes from, and then to get to go into the booth and be in the booth with you, every week now with Truck Series, and being in the booth with Rick a few times, and Atlanta's asked me about coming out there, or I've asked him about coming out there, same thing. Terry being in the booth, expert. There's so many people that have we all as a big community want to help each other. So you guys are all the GOATs in my opinion, though.
Well, we've all started in the same place on console, worked our way, migrated our way over to iRacing, but man, these guys back on the loud pedal one more time. 75 with James Kerr. He's going to go ahead and lead the way. He's got the 14 of Lurton Tom right behind him. I'm not sure if these guys still go by gamer tags for those that know each other better, but Swats definitely looks like that bottom line much more formed up than the top side.
Line definitely. I think the 75 and the 14 were talking to each other in their headsets apparently, because they were right on that restart, ready to go. 14 was right on the back bumper of the 75, pushed him that whole front straightaway through the tri-oval, right into turn one. They had a great jump on that. But this 75, I'm loving this paint scheme, the Black Acid Apparel paint scheme. But I'm also, I've kind of swapped to a different view to where I'm looking back at the cars, and I'm noticing a lot of the helmets. I'm noticing that the 75 has a Venom helmet on, where his mouth is open and everything. You can see the teeth. I'm seeing all the kind of different racing suits. I see a Spider-Man, looked like an Iron Man suit earlier. I see a Deadpool one back there. Rowdy Energy. There's so many different cool things you can do with iRacing, between paint schemes, suits, helmets. I wish they'd let you change the gloves, but there's so many cool things you can do with iRacing.
Yeah, and funny enough, this Black Acid, that is a real sponsor. Anytime I've gone to Orange County or to South Boston, there's a woman that drives this, I believe it's this number, and this sponsor around those tracks. One hell of a driver, and for the most part she's pretty clean. I've seen her get tangled up in a couple of cautions, but I love this color scheme with the hot pink, the fluorescent green, and the black. This truck pops, so does that real car out there on track every time I see him every other Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm normally not a big fan of the hot pink, but just with the black and the neon green, it actually really pops on that truck with the flat black. I think it looks really cool. The ARCS paint scheme looks pretty cool too with the yellow. It's not really yellow; it's more of that like kind of lime green. But yeah, I'm loving these paint schemes. The throwback Hooters paint scheme I see back there. The 23 with the orange or the gold and black. Obviously that Truex kind of looking one back there. Shad's probably enjoying that. He's probably off in a corner somewhere working right now, thinking about it. That 22, that's a J-Paw special right there with the Shell Pennzoil one. I mean, there's so many cool things you can do with these things. The Domino's throwback, that old retro looking one.
Yeah, 22 of Cody Roberts. Kind of back looking at him right now. He's whoa, almost a great.
Whoa, there goes the 22.
Oh! And just as we're talking about him, as Byron Jones would say, my Wednesday night counterpart, he was the newest addition to the SpaceX program. Man, he sent that Shell Pennzoil double deuce up skyward and did a couple 360s in the air. Very, very unfortunate for him. We're gonna go ahead and as he sent it back back to the pits. Let's actually see if we can find out what happened right there. We saw it live, but let's check one more time. On board, riding in the back, and it looks like he was squeezed, had nowhere to go. 88 didn't give him any room on the bottom, had no room up top. Very unfortunate. Did a little bit of a pirouette on his lid, landed on his roof. Back to the pits he goes, and I have a feeling this is the first time we've seen any kind of an issue out of him, so more than likely he's going to go ahead and use his fast repair, and he'll be back on he'll be back on track in no time flat. But it looks like Lurkin Tom, he's still leading this thing in this number 14. He's still hard on the loud pedal though to go ahead and catch up to the pace car.
That one, P, that one's kind of tough on the 22. He's, the 44 moved up track like he was kind of going around the 78 and then didn't have anybody behind him because the 22 saw that opening and was going to take it 3 wide. But the 44 decided against going 3 wide and tried to come back down and get behind that 78, and there was no room for the 22. The 88 slid up off the bottom just a little bit, which then just squished the 22 in there, and it, nowhere to go. Kind of unfortunate for the 22. As we were just bringing up the 22, it kind of worked out that way, just talking about him, and then all of a sudden there he goes flying through the sky.
Absolutely, very, very unfortunate for Cody Roberts. Still see him sitting there on pit road. So something tells me he might have actually used his fast repair earlier, or he's just allowing time on track to fix up as much as he can. We'll have to find out if he works his way off pit road a little bit later on. But again, very, very unfortunate for Kobe. Let's go ahead and bring it back up with Lurkin Tom. Looks like he's got some damage to that left rear. Yotes out there, good to see him saying, yeah, 9 out of 10. He didn't stick the landing. So as our buddy, old HD Motorsports, Nick Vroman would say, dang those Russian judges.
Yeah,
right.
he's got a little damage on that right side, Tom does, so that right front fender's caved in a little bit. I don't know how much that's going to affect him. He is the leader as of right now, it looks like, so, or maybe not after they do this stuff, but I don't know if he's going to lose a lot in the draft. It's when he gets to the front, is he going to hold up the line because he can't carry the speed with the rest of the guys with their aero being fixed. If he does have that fast repair, we got, 30, 39, 38 to go. Yep. He could be waiting and just seeing what happens, sticking with the front pack, and then if a late caution comes out, using that fast repair. If he doesn't have it, he's going to keep trying to fix it if cautions do keep happening, but I don't know if he can get to the front with that damage.
Well, looks like right now Lurkin Tom is still your leader. He's up front with that ARCS machine. That Toyota Tundra is gonna have the 23.2 is outside. Ryan Bile right in front of him. So I'm sorry, actually Ryan is your leader. Let's get on over and take a look at that machine for him. It's going to be the
number. It's crazy to see that 23 up there in front. He was in the very first caution tonight.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look. Trying to catch up with the entire field. Okay, I was actually going to go ahead and try to pull the 23, but it looks like the lights on the pace truck are out, Kurt. Going to get set and get ready to go. As you said, the laps are absolutely winding down. We'll be working lap 53 once they come on by the start stripe. And you can clearly, there's a lot of the pace cars and pace trucks that you can't make out. You can definitely tell that the iRacing pace truck here is none other than that Silverado. Same Silverado I've got in my driveway.
Oh, that's unfortunate for you, but no, I'm just
Hey, it
kidding.
could be a F-150. Haha.
Hey, it's not a Toyota, so that's where it's at, is the Toyotas. But yeah, I love that they introduced the truck a couple years ago as the pace car for the Truck Series. I don't know why they had a pace, like a regular little car for the Truck Series all them years. I think if you're gonna have a Truck Series, you should have a pace truck. So it looks pretty cool. That definitely looks a little lifted though compared to stock. But Pete, we are going to go green with that 14 of Tom Sears out front.
Yeah, Tom absolutely on that loud pedal the soonest. 23's spotter, I'm sure, called clear, 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 and he jumped to the bottom as quick as he possibly could, and he's got the 12 of Ryan Pinnell. We saw him just a little bit ago, mired further in the back. Now up to P number 3, giving the 23 just a little bit of room. Topside only has 3 cars with the 75 in the front, so he's going to try to be the engine to the rest of those other cars as the caboose. Now mired to P2 as they're going to try to come on through.
Yeah, Pete, I don't know. So I'm looking at that 14 as I was talking about in the caution. He's got the damage on the right front fender. The 23, his spoiler is a little bowed. The cleanest truck up there, or the cleanest trucks, are all on the outside. 75, 61, and 78 are all clean looking trucks. 94 has a little bit of a bowed spoiler as well. 44 is looking clean. 12's clean. 88's got damage, and so does the 38. So I don't know if that 14 is going to be able to hold that line, but being pushed by the 23, that may keep him up there. But I would really bet that at some point the 23, 12, or 88 is going to ask for that 14 to move back into the line so that they can carry that speed on the bottom.
I have a feeling, and you're probably right. How long do you think it's going to be before second, third, and fourth all realize that the 14 is just flat holding them up? Look at the organization. Look at the nose-to-tail racing here. Talk about don't push the pusher. But the 75, even with only 3 trucks behind them on the high side, they have caught up to that right rear of the 14. And pretty soon, if that high line momentum and if they're able to get in that second groove instead of riding the wall, they're going to go ahead and be able to take that lead. As you see a little bit of a run here from the 75, they're now side by side, 5 rows deep.
You had 10 trucks on that bottom line versus 4 trucks on the outside line, and they were able to creep right back up to the 14 and 23. You can see damage on the left rear of the 14, the right front of the 14, and down the side of the 14. I think that's what's really holding them up, and I have a feeling at some point here, like we've been talking about, they're going to make a move, as now you see the 75 and 61, who aren't really locked to bumpers at all, and they're coming up and passing the 14 and 23.
Yeah, I tell you what, that 14 was lucky right there. The 23 just about got clear over to the right rear of Lurkin Tom, and that would have sent him straight to the wall, knocking out the 75 and company. That would have been really bad. So this 14, he's lucky that they haven't just completely left him in the middle and gone to that middle line. But with 25 laps to go, you probably don't want to make that 3-wide move just yet. But man, eventually frustration's gonna get the better of the 23. He's gonna go into the middle, and if the 75 is up high, it might be all about when that spotter calls clear.
You know, I know a lot of these guys can't see that the 14 has damage from back here, like where the 88, 38, 48, and 44 are, but you can probably tell in the speed by looking down and seeing their speedometer, or the little speed gauge there, that you're not going as fast as you should be. So I would probably, if I was the 38 and 48 right now, I would duck up behind that 94, get between them and the 44, and try to build that outside line. You leave that bottom line with 3 guys versus 7, that outside line's already been holding their own with 4 against 10. You throw 3 more up there, and they're going to blow the doors off the front pack, or the front row, and I think that's just going to leave everybody locked on that bottom line that's stuck there, whether it's a 23, 12, and 88.
Well, you're talking about speed. Let's check this out. Right now, Sears going about 182 on the outside. James Kerr, he's 182 also, and he's got less cars behind him. So yeah, match for match, So it's really all about track position. And as I say that, the 75 has lost every bit of help behind him. Top line has completely dissipated, completely fallen apart. That was a great time for Ryan Billy in this number 23 to pull up high. I have no doubt that the 12 would have gone with him as well. It looks like looks like the 12 might have been blinking just for a moment right there. So we're gonna pop up with James Kerr in this number 75 black acid machine. It looks like he might be able to take the high spot now. More cars or more trucks lined up right there with him, and he's not going high, wide, and handsome to the outside. He's staying right where he needed to be.
Yeah, Pete, I'm also looking at the fuel gauge here, and they're going to have to pit within the next 10 laps, which is going to put them, right there with, what, 20 laps to go? So they're at 60th lap, 20 laps. That'll put them with 10 to go.
Sorry about that, everybody. My computer took a quick update, and yeah, it kind of brought a second screen up, but we are good to go. Rick James out there saying, "Oh crap, it's Jimmy Kerr."
Yeah, Pete, what I was just saying is the fuel. Looking at the gauge here, they're going to be pitting within the next 8 to 10 laps, which puts them right at the 10 to go line. Is somebody going to kind of short pit them, or are they going to run the fuel out completely, no tires, just go in for just what you need for fuel and come back out? That's going to be the strategies. You might see a couple guys peel off and try to just grab fuel and go, and then you might have guys that run it completely out and grab fuel and go. Who's going to make up the time? That's the question. How many go with who?
Now 21 laps to go, and Rick James gave good save by the 78.
Wow.
14 washed up just a little bit. We've seen him do that before, and the 23 was gracious enough to check up and give him the spot back. The 14, we know he's got damage to the left rear. The 23 did not have to do that, but I think that just saved a huge wreck from happening. Usually when that happens in the front of a pack, the rear has no chance whatsoever to save it, except for some guys way in the back. They're able to check up just enough, but we don't need to see what the speed comparison is anymore as they come up on a lap truck. Lap truck got out of the way, and that just cost the 75 a few spots, maybe.
Wow.
Yep.
It's
oh no,
chain
that's gonna
reaction.
be it.
It's still going.
It looks like Tristan Catania is going to be part of that. Cody Meadows, Dylan McDermott, Tom Lurkin, and Charles Canita, own Cornette as well. So we're just going to go ahead and bring out the yellow with 20 to go. Kurt, you just asked, or you were just talking about, what to do on pit road. Fuel, maybe right sides, no tires, whichever. This caution. Now, as long as it doesn't go to the old adage, caution breeds caution. As long as it doesn't go to that as they catch up to the pace car, everybody is now in their fuel window with this stop. It's going to be at the latter part of their fuel window, but everybody should be able to make it from here. Question is, will the 14 stay on pit road, give up a few spots, and get fixed up? Or does he throw caution to the wind if he still has that quick repair in his pocket? He would go ahead and use that. But we're going to go ahead and catch up with Steven right now and kind of see what happened from his view. So it looks like just a little bit of blink in there. No big deal. Just some hard side-by-side racing, a little bit of contact, met in the middle, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, Pete, you probably have to go back a little bit further. That kind of all chain reacted from that lap car. He kind of hung out in the middle of the track. And I think the 75 thought he was going to go high or he was going to stay in his line, and he came back down. And what he did, it pushed the 75 down because he had nowhere else to go, and he ran right into the back of that lap down car or lap down truck. And that kind of made everybody scatter in the front rows there. And then the 23 and 94 kind of banged off of each other as they were trying to get back in line. It just, everybody was all over the place because of that scattering of that lap down car kind of be any in the way there. So I'm sure the admins will go back and look at that one, but I think that just ruined the night for a few guys that did not have fast repairs anymore.
All right, we'll go ahead and stop and pick it up right from here. This is where the 19. I thought maybe the grass played a part in that, but this is where everybody got on by him. One car that bounced off the outside wall came up, made contact, but by that time, it was all over. No way, no way to save it. See the 75 with James Kerr coming off pit road. Still saw that double deuce Pennzoil truck still sitting on pit road, as well as Jonah Bybee. Looks like right now Cody Meadows, he's gone ahead and taken the lead. I believe, I'll double check, with Dylan McDermott in that number 38, talking about that paint scheme a little bit ago in that Titletown Designs Chevy Silverado. So Cody Meadows, I still see the lights on the pace car are on.
Yeah, Pete, I don't know if you can go back and look at it again. If you can go to the 9 truck back before, or when they come off of turn 4, that's where that initially starts and scatters everybody. And then the 19 obviously was there, but everybody was so scattered. There was 3 and 4 wide situations going on because of that 9 truck.
Yeah, that was from merging. Okay, nope, there we go. Let me see.
Yeah, it was from Seth Wansing back to the 75. He kind of stays in the middle of the track. He kind of stays in the middle of that track and then kind of forces the 75 to go low, and he goes low at the same time, and it just caused a big issue. But 75's back out on track, so looks like his truck's all fixed up. So he did have that fast repair saved.
Well, I tell you what, look at this this top 5 now. Cody Meadows, Dylan McDonald, Ryan Pinnell, Terry Freer, and Dustin Painter. A bunch of guys we really hadn't talked about all race long. Maybe some guys that were staying mid-pack and have been able to avoid any kind of issues, or some guys that have hung all the way back and have been able to get it woed up and slowed up. Really get on the binders to avoid any kind of race issues throughout almost 80 laps. Next time they come to the start stripe, we'll be at 16 laps to go. Still. 20 some odd 20 some odd trucks left on the lead lap. I tell you, Kurt, it is great to be back out here.
Yeah.
What a
38
fun
truck
race.
though, Pete. That's who we were talking about earlier. That
Yep.
I said did not get that memo that they shortened the caution lap, and he went a lap down, and then they had a caution right then.
Yep.
So here he is, right back out front where he was before they had that caution come out. So now he's back where he wanted to be. He was floating around right there at the top 10 as they go green with the 88 and 38, but somebody didn't tell the 46 to get on the back bumper of the 38. That's a giant
and that's
gap
going to bring a
between those
caution
two.
right out.
Wow.
Yeah, something happened a little bit further in the back with Joshua Gaiman. Let's see what happened there. Oh, okay. Well, looks like he decided he was going to try to get on by. Looks like that's going to be Jonah Bybee. He decided he was going to try to get on by Jonah, and there was just nothing there. He got a little squirrely, made a little contact, and as you saw, there it is. He went ahead and towed it. Very unfortunate for the 61.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused by that one. It was kind of weird. Yeah, I'm not sure what the thinking was there.
I don't know. But 6th caution for today. Not too. Yeah, again, this is a season opener. Again, with just over 30 trucks in all that started the race. A few have unfortunately left due to using up their one single fast repair and then getting caught up in maybe something not of their doing, or some of these maybe of their doing. Yeet the Gingers, thank you very much for the follow. Absolutely appreciate appreciate you smashing that follow button. We absolutely appreciate you. You can catch ARCS every single Saturday night for the foreseeable future, right around 10 p.m. Eastern. If you got somebody that you cheer on, shout them out there in chat. We'll shout them out as well. But it looks like right now it's going to be the number 88 truck of Cody Meadows. He's going to go ahead and bring that thing down pit road. Ryan Pinnell, he's going to do the same thing. So earlier, Kurt, where we were saying these guys were all right at the window of being able to make it on fuel, the guys that are coming on down pit road right now to go ahead and top it off, no question whatsoever, they can go loud and large for these remaining 13 some odd laps to go. They don't have to hold anything back.
Yeah, I think that was the guys that stayed out on the last caution, because now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that stayed out, that all pitted 5 laps ago. So right before we went green on that last caution, they all pitted. So now these guys are coming down, and they will be within their pit window. But yeah, Pete, this is going to get really crazy here. And with 26 people out there in the chat, Pete, viewing, why don't we ask some of the chat people out here that who they think could win this? It's kind of shuffled the deck multiple times the last couple laps, or last couple little segments of laps. And a lot of the players that we saw up here at the beginning or in the middle are no longer up here. It's all new players that we have not seen most of the night, besides maybe Dylan McDonald, Hayden Wheeler. That's about it. All the other ones weren't really up here a lot. Cody Meadows as well, I guess, has been up here the last couple segments.
Yeah, absolutely. How about this? Terry Freer in this number 46 Looney Tunes DuPont paint scheme. Boy, that paint scheme brings back some memories. Or Dustin Painter in this number 49 Domino's machine. Alfie Sharon Jr. in this number 78 Toyota out of Putnam, Connecticut. Terry Gabbard out of West Alexandria, Ohio in this number 4 truck. And then James Kerr.
You're reading off lap down cars.
Am I? I can't.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Nope.
The 94 was.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he just took off to get his lap back.
Did I say 94 or the 4? I don't think I said the 94. I don't know.
Said 94.
Nope.
I just said Domino's and everything else, so.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Alfie, and then Terry Gabbard, and then Justin Williams. But we're getting ready to go. These guys getting ready to hit that loud pedal one more time. But Justin Williams right now, he's falling back just a little bit to P6 out of Rock Island, Illinois. He says, follow Warp Lotus on most social media platforms, but he is an ARCS Showdown Series driver. We're going to get ready to go, Kurt, one more time. The lights on the pace truck are out. 46 is going to be your control truck. As Yotes King just said out there in chat, things just got interesting.
Yeah, Pete, the 75's back up here. He's got a little bit of damage to that truck, but he is back up here in the top 5. So look for James Kerr to come back through the field to try to get through first. That 78 truck that SS Motorsports has been drooling over has a lot of scrapage down the side of that left of the truck, but he could be one to be right in front of James and James to push to the end. That 4 truck on the outside there, he's got a bunch of damage to the back end and side. Spoiler's a little bit wavy, but that Domino's truck is definitely looking pretty clean as far as the rest of these trucks up here, and that 46 is also looking clean. So I think though I'm gonna go with the 75, like Yotes King said.
Oh, here we go, and we got the speed and telemetry as well as the driver inputs on that wheel on the bottom right hand side. They just took the green already up to about 150 miles per hour, and again, this is from that DuPont machine. He's got that Tasmanian Devil in full uproar. A lot more on the bottom side than there is on the top. Only 3 cars up high so far, but you can be sure as this lap continues on, that'll get more. 46 spins around. So far, no caution. We are still green though. I'm gonna guess because he got wrecked on the apron, and he's out of the racing groove. No yellow. That's going to be very, very unfortunate for that number 46 DuPont machine. Let's catch up with James Kerr, though. He's gone ahead and inherited the lead. And as you said, there's that caution.
Yeah, I think that one, if we're going to look back at it, I think that one's probably going to be, it's probably going to be on the 78. 46 moved up off the track just a little bit, but there wasn't, I don't know if you would say there was time to do that move right then and there, but he stuck his nose in there, and 46 tried to close it back up, and 46 went for the spin cycle down the backstretch.
All right, well, let's take a look. Yeah, 46 definitely in that middle lane, and yeah, he said, man, you moved up too far. I filled the hole. You got to keep these things painted to that double yellow. Otherwise, that's one of the risks that you take. 46 will make sure that when we get to Talladega or Daytona again later on in the future, this might be just a lesson for that 46. But the guy, you know, the not the 38, was it 74? I'm not quite sure. But that guy probably could have been a little bit more patient as well. But 78. There you go. But Curtis, you got to think, as we come to 10 to go, it's go time. The time for allowing and disallowing and checking up and whatnot, it's Daytona. It's the season opener. Everybody wants to notch their chance at a championship early. Man.
Yeah, I mean,
being Daytona,
I know what you're
enough
saying,
for a lot
Pete.
of people.
It's hard though. With 10 laps to go, there's so many moves that can be made with 10 laps to go, and it's not even a finishing move because there's still 10 laps to go, and a lot can happen in those 10 laps. So I feel like the 75 or the 78 probably could have given the 46 a little bit of a break, let him come back down. You're already sitting second place. You know, you were carrying a lot of speed. The group was working together. Probably could have pushed the 46, you know, till 2 laps to go or 1 lap to go, and then maybe made that move, or even 3 laps to go if you want to surprise him, but you're going to leave a lot of laps for him to come back on you. But some guys, you know, it's to the floor and to the front and no holds barred. So 10 laps to go, it's possible that that's where the 78 was thinking, or he was thinking, you know what, you gave me the space, you don't have that spot no more. So
exactly right. But you know what? The 78, we saw the 46 go around. I mean, there's no doubt about that whatsoever. But riding on board with the left front of the 78, I think he might have actually got the worst end of the deal, because he's all crumpled up on that left front from, you know, making the 46 go for a ride. So he's not. I don't think he can actually. He might be able to keep up in a draft, but this 78, if he is somehow able to work his way back up to the front, you know, you can't really do a whole lot as far as, you know, a bump and run here or something like that. You do not want to push the pusher, of course, but hey, again, exactly 10 laps to go. There's going to be 9 laps to go once they come to the line, as you see them all still single file. They're about to go ahead and get doubled up. Can you push the pusher? Yeah, but I think the 78 actually got the worst end out of all that. Could a little bit of patience, you know, bode well for him? Yeah, but hey, it's Daytona.
Well, patience is probably the reason why I don't win. So I'm a little more patient than others, and I wait till certain moments when I feel like that's when you should go. I know SS Motorsports is out there saying it's go time. I don't know. 10 laps to me seems like an eternity on Daytona, with so many different things that can happen. You know, you get in line, you stretch it out, then you make the move. But I mean, I can't fault him either, because the 46 did give up the bottom. If the 78 felt like, you know what, I can move to first and then wait, but it's a super speedway. I feel like I would rather be second or third than being first coming down to the last lap.
Absolutely.
And don't look now, but James Kerr, the one I just said, is back up to the front.
Yep, I was just talking about that black acid truck just a little bit ago. Even though it's a Toyota, you know, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be able to check out your Toyota tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that at 38, we were talking about him earlier as well. When that caution came out, he had just been lapped. So getting the free pass, keeping his nose clean, he might be able to fight James Kerr for this W, is if he's able to hold position and gains a lot of buddies on that high side. Jeremy Briel, Cody Meadows and Alfie Sharon Jr. in that 78 we were just talking about, sitting in P5. Dustin Painter, Matthew Kent, Terry Gabbard, Ryan Pinnell, and Justin Williams going to round out your top 10 back green.
These guys are definitely locking bumpers, going to the green flag there. The 75 didn't look like he had a great jump because there was a little bit of gap, and then the 74 closed it real quick. So I don't know if he just maybe mistimed his shift or maybe hit the rev limiter a little too long, but he definitely came back to the 74 on that restart, which is going to allow that outside line to build a lot of momentum going around turn 1 and 2. Down the backstretch, 38 is out in front, but he's not clear of that 75 yet.
No, he's not clear of the 75 yet, but I feel like he might have been listening to the broadcast a little bit ago. You see him with his right side tires on that seam going all the way through the corner. That allows him to really keep tabs on that inside truck. As long as that inside truck can hold the line, he's not going to make contact, but he's also right there with him, making the track as small as possible. Meanwhile, keeping a little bit of momentum that you can keep on that high side all the way through. He's got the 88 right in tow. He's actually got good 5, 6, 7 cars up there with him as well. If they stay like this to the end, we're either going to see a colossal wreck or we're going to see a finish for the ages. 7 to go.
Yeah, I've noticed running this track a bunch this week for the Daytona days down on the official side. If you stay hugged right against them coming into the turn and going through the turn a little bit, and just before you exit the turn, you let the car roll to the outside wall, and you get that separation where the air kind of pushes you away and it shoots you down the track. That's where the momentum is carried, but you definitely need to stay right on the door or as close as you can through the turns to stop that truck from going through there and pulling away from you. But look at that outside line, Pete. That outside line has just the 38 got down in front of the 75. Now the 88 and 49 blow past the 38 and 75. That outside line is where I'd want to be. That's where the momentum is.
Yeah, all kinds of momentum up there, and he's doing a great job. It looked like he might be taking it 3. What? Nope. Maybe again. Nope. It looks like both of the guys that were leading that high line were able to clear the leaders. So Cody Meadows and Dustin Painter now sitting P1, P2, 38 that started on the high side after that restart now falls back to P3, and we are not done. It looks like Dustin Painter, he is not satisfied right now with 5 laps to go. I believe, 5 laps to go. He's not satisfied with third. He wants second, maybe try a little bit of side draft. Now you see the 4 car with a little bit of a push from the 8 car on the high side. Then you see that number 6 STP car. Haven't really talked about Tommy Withers very much tonight, but he's right where he maybe wants to be, a couple spots further. But Curtis, we're starting to see the low line get formed back up one more time. High line dissipated.
Yeah, I think the problem with the Highline right now is that 4 truck has a ton of damage to the back end of his truck, and the 8 looks super clean right now. So I think that's what's holding up that outside line with the 6, the 14, and 21. 14 truck looks a lot better than it did earlier, as we see that accordion effect happening back and forth back there as they're kind of ping-ponging off of each other with the line backing up. But that 8, I think, needs to get around the 4 and let the 4 push him. His front end looks clean. The rest of his truck looks clean, but that 8, that spoiler is V-shaped. So he's got some issues going on with that truck speed.
Yeah, I don't think the 49 realized exactly what was going on with the 4, but now the 4.
That's going to help, though.
Absolutely. I remember years and years back, Greg Biffle's car, his 3M car, was completely destroyed right here at Daytona. And, I mean, there was Bondo and, 250-mile-an-hour tape flying off that number 16 that he drove. But because he was in a draft, none of that mattered. All that mattered was the motor, and his rear end was in somewhat good condition. And that's exactly what's helping this Ford truck right now. Now, does he have it in the motor to go ahead and push the 49 up to the lead? I don't think so, because the 8's going to have to be able to push the 4 while the 4 gives the 49 a push as well. But there comes that law. Don't push the pusher. Are they willing to take that chance? We'll have to see. We've got some lap traffic pulling off pit road now.
Yeah, I think the move is going to come from the 75 and 74 and 78. I think those 3 need to try to figure out how to get around this 38. The 49 jumped out there to the outside line. I think that was the smartest move to do, but I think he wishes the 8 was behind him instead of the 4.
Yep.
Now you see the 75. There's the move.
Now you got two pretty good trucks. 75, he's got a little bit of damage to the
74
spoiler.
might try to get up there too.
Yep. 75, he's also got a little bit of damage to the spoiler as well. So you got one truck that's great. Actually, no, it looks fine. It was just the camera angle. So we'll have to see if these two trucks on the high side can now catch up and get on by this 88, as it looks like we got one more. 2 to go.
So that's what's happening, Pete. I told you the 75, 74, and 78, that's where it's going to be at. Those two cleared, and now the 74 is up front, and look at the 75 giving it a push. Oh, there goes the big move. 31 gets turned. Oh.
We had just taken 2 laps to go, so we're going to get one more back. We are going to have a green-white checker to start the season out. I hope all 23 to 25 of you out there in chat are ready to see a great duel for a great finish to this. Now I believe this is the 4th season in the ARCS racing. It's going to be a lot of fun. These guys started out on console, migrated on over to iRacing, as did a whole lot of other people. You know, Swats, I don't know if you saw the numbers that iRacing set out, but when they ran the road course race here just a few short weeks ago, last year, drivers crashed the iRacing servers with about 7,500 registered drivers for the 24-hour race at Daytona a week before the real race took part. This year, I think it was like 11,300 people registered for that race. More and more people are migrating over due to the quality of racing that you can find on console, whether it's on Xbox or on PlayStation. I'm loving the racing that these guys are putting on. This whole season is going to be phenomenal with these ARCS drivers.
Yeah, Pete, I know you and I are pretty well established with the Xbox community and the people we know over there and how hardcore they are with staying on console. But I'm telling you, if you're hardcore onto console, give iRacing a shot and you will never turn back. Those guys that are still buried in the NASCAR heat and whatever NASCAR ignition or whatever it's called and all that stuff, there's no comparison. iRacing is where it's at. That's why you find all the pro drivers here. That's why you see, Dale Jr. putting his money into it, sponsoring stuff. You see Kyle Busch sponsoring with Rowdy Energy. You see, all those guys coming down. There's a reason. It's as close as you can get to getting into a real NASCAR vehicle and driving around the track. They measure the tracks. They scan the tracks. They update the vehicles. They update the track. They're putting rain in at some point here. They're doing all kinds of things. You can't compete. There's nothing close to iRacing except for real NASCAR being above it.
All right, let's actually see if we can go ahead and take a look what happened with Alfie Sharon and others. We're actually going to go ahead and back this up right there and start from the beginning, because I think he might have got a nasty bump. Let's play it here. Could this be a case of don't push the pusher? That is exactly what it is. He had nowhere to go, got pushed down below the yellow, and he just completely lost control. You don't push the pusher. And then he was skyward. All right, so...
Yeah, those were the 3 trucks, though, Pete, that I was talking about, the 74, 75, and 78. I figured it was going to come from one of the 3 of them making a move. 75 made it first by going up in front of that 49 truck, and then the 74 was able to clear the 75 and get in front of him. I think the 78 was going to try to do the same thing and get a big run, but I saw in the race chat that somebody said you can't lift when being pushed. So I think that's what they're saying is the 78 might have lifted right as he got pushed, and that's what turned him to the side. And I'm trying to look at the replay, but it doesn't look like he's right on the bumper, so I don't know if it's a pusher pushing the pusher. But it's kind of what you wanted to do. The 78 really wanted to get to the outside line with the fast trucks of the 74 and 75. Those two were coming.
Well, Cody Meadows in this number 88 RKM Setups Toyota is our current leader. And let's see if we can actually find one person that we've tried tonight. Again, Cody Meadows.
I must not be able to have the ability to see all the chats, Pete, because I only see 4 people online in Discord.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll have to get you. Yeah, I'm not seeing Cody Meadows either, unfortunately. Either that or yeah, I don't see him. But that is that's all right. We'll get this sorted out as time goes on. This is the very first race that we're covering here with the ARCS Saturday Night Showdown. It's been a phenomenal race so far. We've got green-white checkers. We're going to go ahead and catch up back with real time. Green-white checker, Cody Meadows, Dylan McDonald, Tom Lurkensears, James Kerr, and Justin Williams. They're going to be your leaders. Back to green flag, back to covering the full field. 88 was the control car, first on the loud pedal. Here we go.
You got somebody in the chat saying go back to live.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I just haven't hit the
75.
button yet.
Yeah, 75. That's who I've been trying to say I think is going to be the contender for the win. But he's got the 14. We saw Tom Sears up here earlier, and then he had a little bit of an issue with some damage, and now he's got a clean truck coming right back on the bottom with James Kerr. But look at that outside line, Pete.
Yeah, that 88 went up and picked up the 38. 38, I don't think he was so willing to check up. 2 to go. White flag this time by that 46 that we saw spin off the front bumper of the 48. Well, now here he is leading the outside charge. He's got help. He's got a couple trucks that are nose to tail right behind him. Will that outside momentum be enough? 74 pushing for all it's worth. White flag, Kurt.
Yeah, 46 has got to get the back bumper being pushed by the 74. The 74 is doing everything he can, but he's got a little bit of damage. And the 6 has also got damage, and he's not staying with the 74. But that 38 is all over the back bumper of that 88. I have a feeling the 75 is waiting for the 78 or 38 and 88 to make a mistake, and he's going to pounce. And he might move. There he goes. He goes to the outside with the 46 now pushing. Comes back down to the inside line with the 14. Now he's going to try to get a big wreck. 14-46 going back. We're going to race it to green, Pete. Or race it to the checker.
Yep, gonna race it to the green. Looks like the 88 comes up off the yellow line just enough. Will we see 3 wide? No, we won't. The 38's gonna settle for P number 2.
Whoa,
we got more wrecking behind him. Couple more wrecks.
I don't know what just happened.
I don't know either, but all I know is the 88 of Cody Meadows. He's gonna grab the first checkers of the season in the ARCS Showdown Truck Series. 38's going to be P number 2. Tristan Lane is going to be P3. Congratulations. We'll actually be able to talk to those 3 in just a little bit. Find out what they felt, what they saw, what they did in order to get a great start to their season points.
Yeah, Pete, I'm looking at that replay again right before the finish line with the 75 of James Kerr. I think he blew an engine. He dropped speed from 180 right at the back bumper of the 38 and went all the way down to 165 and got ran into the back by the red and black truck there. So I think he blew an engine coming to the finish line, and that's what stalled the 51 from coming up, and I guess that's what gave him third.
Man, I guess anything is possible. If we've all seen where if you've got damage on the front end and you try to go ahead and race it out. We've seen, motors blow when you're all by yourself on track, but man, it's absolutely possible. 88, he's going to go ahead and rip up the Daytona infield. There's nothing like it, and man, this is going to start the season off very well for Cody Meadows.
Yeah, big win for Cody Meadows, Daytona. That's always, the crown jewel of everybody wanting to get that first win. Biggest track, biggest time frame. That's NASCAR's Daytona is what everybody looks at, especially for first race of the season. Now they have it towards the end of the season as well. So I think this is going to be a good season for the 88. I think Cody can definitely move forward. good job by Dylan. That's who we talked about earlier, being a lap down, coming back and getting second. Tristan Lane, your pole sitter, coming back and getting third. That's a really good night for those two, especially with the damage Tristan got twice, actually, getting caught up in 2 different incidents.
Absolutely. As you see, Cody Meadows up against that wall, trying to burn him down. I don't think anything less than popping that motor is going to be satisfactory to the man. As Detroit Lions Nation 81 follows, buddy. Thank you very much for the follow. Absolutely appreciate it. There again is your final. Meadows, McDonald, Lane, Kerr, Gabbard, Pinnell, Jamalin, Withers, Catania, and Briel. Again, definitely want to thank everybody that came out, hung out, chatted up, kept us company. Stay right there for our top 3. We'll have them in the booth in just a moment. All right, ladies and gents, definitely appreciate you hanging in there and being patient. Top 3 in Interviews now in process. We're going to start off with old Tristan Lane, driver of the 51. Definitely saw you get caught up early with just a mishap with Bod Fusion. Jonah Bybee, which, by the way, he sends his deepest apologies when he was downshifting, getting to pit road. A little bit of a wheel hop, spun out, and unfortunately collected you. But, man, not bad at all. You started on pole tonight, only fell 2 spots when the entire night was over. Kept that 51 pretty clean for the most part. How would you, how would you describe your night?
Resilience, man. Resilience. Never give up. Never give up. I mean, we were 3 laps down at one point, and just, that sense of urgency and feeling like, the entire night's just gone. Running in the back, just trying to keep the truck clean for the rest of the night. Just great job by our team. We did really well. On the replay there, I made contact. I think I netcoded with the 46. So I want to say apologies to him, and that it wrecked a lot of trucks there. But man, yeah, top 3. I'm happy. I told some of my guys, it's like, if we could just get top 3 out of this after the night we've had, I'll be happy. Well, just bringing it back alive was all that really mattered to me. But yeah, it's resilience, man.
Well, to come back from 3 laps down, yeah, there were a few cautions that probably helped you out. Not quite sure when you got those 3 laps back, but absolutely, way to stay in the pack. Try to keep your nose clean for the best possible finish. It's gonna give you a good start towards this pretty long season. You're going to start off 3rd in points. Not quite sure how that structure goes with laps led, the pole setter and whatnot. But any quick shout outs for you, Tristan?
No, not really. Just I would want to say though, this was a one-off for me. I don't know if I'll be running any more races this year, but just shout out to SK for allowing me to run in the series and picking out the 51 truck for me tonight. It's great. It's a great feeling. This is my first race with these guys in Saturday Night League, and it's great.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on your P3. Way to go, man.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, we're going to go ahead and introduce now Dylan McDonald. Dylan came home P number 2, and Swats, I think you got driver 38.
Yeah, Dylan, you started the race 16th. You made it up through the pack a little bit. We saw you in the outside line working with a few different guys. And then there was a caution about, I don't know, lap 50. And you wound up having to go into pits late. And then they switched the caution to 1 less lap. Were you aware of that or not? Because it looked like you stayed in pits a little longer than you probably should have, and you came out right in front of the leaders as they were coming to green, and you actually went a lap down just before they caused the caution there, which gave you your lap back. But were you aware of that caution?
Yeah, I actually had a penalty, so I had to sit in my pit box for a little over a minute. But yeah, as soon as I came out, I was like, I really hope there's a caution that comes out if I do go a lap down, because I do want that lucky dog. But luckily, it worked out in my favor. Sucks that, the caution did come out, but yeah, try to take my time getting up through the field, though.
It definitely came out in a good time for you. We saw you coming out. I was like, oh, that 38, he was leading, and now he's on pit road. I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on, but he's staying on pit road a long time, and then they changed it to 1 last lap, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if he knows. And you came out right in front of the leaders. Caution came out, so big fingers crossed on that one. Must have pulled it out for you. But you're bringing home 2nd tonight. We saw you, like I said, leading around in the front pack there. You stuck with the overall winner of Cody Meadows, the 88. Did you have anything else? Could you have done anything else? I know the pack broke up right there coming off turn 4, so you didn't really have somebody to push you to the win. The 75 kind of went to you guys' outside, and then I believe he blew an engine as he was trying to pass you guys. So it would have been just you versus the 88, and I don't know if you'd have been able to get by him by the finish line, but were you just planning on sticking with him, or did you have a thought about going around him?
Oh no, I told him and was messaging him during the cautions. I'm like, hey, look, man, I'm not gonna try to force the issue on trying to pass you if I can't get a good enough run. when we had that little stint before the green white checkered, I planned on making a move on him, but I just didn't want to make a move and then have everybody come up, and I couldn't get back down behind him. Plus, my engine was really running really hot, so I didn't want to take the chance. So I just had no kind of run coming to the final lap, so I just stuck with him, and I was talking to him off of 4. I was like, look, no pressure from me. Just gonna ride behind you. Just go get the win. I'd rather finish second instead of wrecking myself trying to get the win.
Well, CP, that's the type of driver that I wish we had more of. The guy that's willing to just push to the victory rather than, taking the bold, move and maybe causing an incident and wrecking the field or wrecking the leader, taking both of them out. Those are the guys that I would prefer to have in a league because, you don't have those guys that cause incidents or, make the really, really sketchy moves and, cause big old wrecks because they went 3 wide or 4 wide. Dylan, that's hands down, clap. Everybody should clap for you for doing that. 88 should definitely give you big props for sticking with him and pushing him to the victory. But second place, first race of the season, great overall night for me, jumping from 16th in qualifying to second. Probably could have had a shot at first, but bringing it home second is nothing against you on that one. That's a great overall night, especially with some of the cautions that were coming out here. It's a great finish for you, Dylan.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it was. I got the stage win and just tried to keep my car clean and stay out of wrecks as best as I could.
Well, Pete, yeah, Dylan, like I said, do you guys get stage points? We were trying to figure that out before. Did you guys get something for stage win? Because we were trying to figure out why you were the only one that was, I would say, smart enough to stay out and take that stage win.
Yeah, I was talking to SK during that, and I said, do I still get stage points? Because as soon as I crossed the start finish line, the caution didn't come out right away, and I ended up running out of gas going into pit road. So, I mean, I was kind of pushing it with the fuel, but I knew I had to stay out just to try to get some stage points. But yes, they do count.
There you
So
go.
that's what I was saying, Pete. Is that he was the only one that was smart enough to stay out there if they were giving away stage points, and everybody else pitted with 3 to 2 laps to go before that caution came out. So I was surprised to see you were really the only one that stayed out there, and to get those stage points and finish second tonight. That's a huge night at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. And back to your point about checking up and not wrecking the entire field in the back. We saw a few circumstances of that as the night went on, but man, instead of going on out there, possibly maybe getting somebody to check up and push you to the win, rather you stayed behind the 88, pushed him to the win. It's going to be a great points night for you. On to Auto Club next week. Definitely looking forward to that race next Saturday night, right around 10 o'clock Eastern, right here with me and Swats. Any quick shout-outs for you, bud?
Give a quick shout out to my sponsors, Upstate Body Shop and Towing in South Carolina and Gaffney, Travis's Auto Service in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Raise Energy, TJR, and PEM for letting me work with them during the race tonight. Title Town Racing with Wes Fuller, Ricky Gonzalez, Mark Gonzalez, and Nick Panico, and myself, and you guys for broadcasting, and I think Ryan Panel or Cody Panel or even SK for putting the league on and having us race every Saturday night.
I tell you what, I'm sitting right here sipping on an Apollo Raised energy drink right now, so I'm right there with you as a fellow insider. Congratulations.
Yeah, Dylan, I would make sure you talk to Cody and remind him to repay that favor maybe at some point throughout the season and stick to your back bumper.
Oh yeah, I already told him come tracks that I don't have to use draft help. Good luck, cause that's where my keen is, like short tracks and a mile and a half. So can't wait to see how the rest of the season goes.
There you go. Swats, that's P2. Now we're going to go ahead and introduce Cody Meadows into the chat for everybody out there that's kind of still sticking around. You got 20 people out there waiting to see what Cody Meadows has to say. Driver number 88. Cody, We saw an up and down night for you, a little bit further in the back, mid-pack, able to dodge most of everything that happened throughout the 6 or 7 cautions that kind of plagued Daytona. Not too bad for, the first race of the season. Maybe some people just shaking off the jitters, maybe some people that are a little nervous at front. 30-plus cars out here on track tonight. Most cars finished on the lead lap. Hell, most cars finished. Congratulations on the P1, man. Walk us through your race.
Where do I start?
Well, you're up 2 spots from I'm sorry, you're up 2 spots from where you qualified. Let's start from there. No, I'm just kidding. That's too far back. No, just walk us through maybe your toughest parts, maybe some spots where you had to make a difficult decision, and go from there.
Well, it's just I came into this race just open-ended, open-minded like every time. I was oval sides of I like racing oval, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm more of a dirt guy, so I'm over racing sprint cars 90% of the time. But it's you come into these big super speedway races, you don't know what to expect. I mean, it could go caution free, it could be caution nightmare. But I was talking to my teammate Ryan, Billy, and we pretty much our main goal was to survive. I mean, we qualified I think 3rd and 5th, and our goal from the start was just to take off, see how the field was, and if we wanted to fall back, then fall back. But things were going quite swell, and then disaster happened, and I don't know what the devil happened to him, but it just wasn't going well. And then I had to talk to him throughout the whole night, trying to figure out if I should fall back, get with my teammate. You know how it goes. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you don't want to go out to a super speedway race alone because then everyone could trample you. But and we finally got back together mid race, and we was just gonna go with the flow. And then me and him, we both agreed that things just wasn't in our comfort zone, so that's when we fell back to the midfield and just holding a lot of survivability. That's how you win these races. And then come closer to the end when Ryan got taken out and I was just there. Big thank you to Mr. Dillon and that 38 machine for helping me get up to the front and hold that win, because it was, and I couldn't have done it without him, and B, I was afraid the fuel wasn't going to make it, but literally in the last bit of the caution, my car was off, my clutch was in, and he was pushing me under caution just so we could both save a little bit of fuel. But yeah, big thanks to Dylan for helping me get this win, but it was just, I don't know what to say, because it was back and forth throughout the night.
There you go. Swatch, you got anything for our winner?
Yeah, great night, Cody. 88 definitely was really fast all night. I believe you started 3rd and finished 1st, so great job overall. You were up there in the top 5, top 10 all night. Great points night. I don't know where you finished the stage break, but great overall points night at the end of the night for the end of the race here. And look forward to seeing what you can do, hopefully, next week at AutoZone.
AutoZone, he needs parts, I guess, right?
Yeah, AutoZone.
I kid because I care. No, absolutely. I gotta echo every bit of that. Congratulations. This win is gonna obviously lock you in to the late championship, and Auto Club is going to be it's going to be high, wide, and handsome. Whole lot of fast drafting. Not quite as much as a Daytona or Talladega, but the draft still plays a huge part in these trucks. We will see you next week, and congratulations from the Smil Racing Designs as sponsor for our podium drivers. Swats, we also got to give a real big thank you to the Chicks and Honey Homestead. Definitely look them up on Instagram. You got a special project you want to get done anywhere around your house, look them up, as well as Midwest Barbecue sponsoring this Saturday night showdown here with the ARC series. Swats, buddy, thank you very much for joining me in the booth. As always, it's a pleasure to have you around, and always a pleasure to join you on Sunday nights when you broadcast for the Turn Down for What Truck series, which will actually be starting up again in about a week or so, when I either join you in the booth or pilot that number 8 around as a part-time driver. Thank you very much, Swats.
Yeah, Pete, I absolutely love being in the booth with you. I'm glad you mentioned it the other night, and I was like, well, if you don't have anything doing or anybody to be in there, I'll definitely jump in there with you, because I love being in the booth with you. I think you and I make a great team. We have a lot of chemistry together, knowing each other for as long as we have, and I will look forward to seeing you in about 9 or 10 hours whenever I come up to your house in a little while, or tomorrow. So, yeah, I think this would be a good pairing all around and a lot of different leagues. So look forward to seeing what happens here in ARCS and those sponsors that we got. That barbecue, I wish I had some barbecue right now, even though it's midnight. Barbecue sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that Midwest barbecue absolutely sounds good. I've heard that some of the best barbecue, even though they say it's a southern thing, I heard Kansas City barbecue is some of the best you could absolutely have anywhere at all. Again, I'm Repeat. This is the one and only Swats, Curtis Swatsworth, in the booth. We will catch you again next Saturday night, right around 10 o'clock, 10:15 Eastern. You're going to want to be there. Auto Club Speedway will be on tap. Thank you all for coming out, hanging out, chatting up, keeping us company. Everybody that followed, everybody that dropped bits. We wouldn't want to do it without you. Have an amazing evening. Have an even better week, and we'll see you again next Saturday night. Later, everybody.